Welcome to Texas Border Watch, your eyes on the front line for all things immigration, border security, and local policy. A few months ago, we told you about these pieces of border wall that were up for auction. It sparked a whole firestorm. Now, President Donald Trump is saying that the government is making moves to try to reclaim these pieces. So we want to walk you through how everything went down. It started back in December of 2024 with this post from GovPlanet. That is a government surplus site. They were auctioning off these pieces of border wall. People were not happy about this. The Department of Defense, though, told the media that they had to use, transfer, or donate all excess wall construction materials under the Biden administration. This is because of the National Defense Authorization Act. If you have money allocated or if you have resources allocated for something and the law says you have to have it done by this date, you have to do it. So that's what they told us. But they also said that when they divided up all of the excess border wall materials, 60% went to authorized recipients like Texas, California, and Customs and Border Protection. And we did confirm that Texas did purchase some of those pieces. But the other 40% were sold to GovPlanet, meaning the government didn't own them anymore. Texas especially did not take kindly to this. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick posted in December saying that he was speaking to the governor about potentially purchasing some of that wall material. However, he then said the Texas Facilities Commission, which oversees the construction and maintenance of the border wall, they said that the material for sale was mostly junk and panels were covered in concrete and rust. So they didn't know how effective these pieces would even be. He even said they weren't sure if it was going to be worth the cost to ship these pieces from Texas to Arizona. Well, there's been an update now. We went several months without hearing anything. The site GovPlanet eventually took these listings down, but the president says they are now willing to work with the federal government to get these pieces back into use for border wall construction.
They sold the wall. Now, this is expensive stuff. Hardened steel, very expensive. 9,000-pound concrete and rebar. Rebar is very expensive, the hardest rebound. No, it's very hard to cut. You have different materials. It's very hard to cut because they cut it down if they can. It's very hard to cut. And Biden sold it for pennies on the dollar. 3 cents on the dollar, 4 cents on the dollar. He sold it. And I said, these guys really don't want it. That was when I first realized, when I saw the wall was being put up, because we could have finished the rest of the wall in about 4 weeks, anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks. It was all set to go. It was laying down, ready to be put up. The foundations were, and they took over. And they said, we're going to sell the wall. And they sold it, as you know, for pennies on the dollar. Well, Pam Bondi's been working very hard on suing that company, and I think they reached a settlement where we're taking the wall back. But they stole the wall from us.
The president says he plans to continue building the wall, but we still have questions about how usable these pieces are going to be if the government buys them back. The Texas Facilities Commission, like we told you, says they're covered in concrete and rust, so we're still working to figure out how usable these pieces are going to be. Well, the nation's largest holding facility for migrants is set to be built right here in Texas, connected to Fort Bliss in El Paso. Senator John Cornyn got to take what he called a windshield tour of that facility, so we want to bring you some updates on what they know so far. This is from our sister station KFOX in El Paso. You can see the big facility that's being built here. It's not open yet. Senator Cornyn says that this facility is known as Camp East Montana, but he's calling it Lone Star Lockup. We're seeing that a lot more often, the names of these facilities being named something memorable to try to get people on board. Alligator Alcatraz being probably the most notable example of that. Here's Senator Cornyn talking about the parameters of this new facility.
This is a place where up to 1,000 criminal aliens, and I'll explain that in a minute, will be detained pending their repatriation or return to their country of origin. And I think it's really important for people to understand we're not talking about gardeners, housekeepers, or people like that. We're talking about as many as 291,000 individuals who are called criminal aliens, who are people either with criminal charges pending or criminal convictions, and who have exhausted all of their legal remedies. In other words, there's no due process issue involved here. These are people who basically didn't show up at their immigration hearing, even though they got a notice to appear before an immigration judge. So the judge issued a order of deportation. The facility is not yet open. It'll open in about a week, and there'll be up to 1,000 individuals detained there. The officials with ICE told me they will be given a medical exam. They will be categorized based on risk. In other words, some people cross the border illegally. They'll be treated in a much less secure facility. Others with convictions, criminal convictions, and other gang members and others will be put in a more secure facility at this location. But as you know, here we are in El Paso. Many of these people will be repatriated to their home countries or sent to other locations from this facility. But it's on the edge of Fort Bliss, this huge military facility. It's not actually part of it in terms of the way the base operates, but it'll be opening in a week, and up to 1,000 individuals will be detained there.
Okay, I was confused. I thought they'd already started taking.
No.
They have not.
No.
What's the policy going to be for families?
No families at this facility. I ask no families and no children, just single adults.
Senator, can you describe the installations? Is it tents? Is there like beds? And as you can see, it's a lot of heat. Do we see any air system, or how will they handle that?
Yeah, what did you see?
Yeah, I've been in many detention facilities operated by the U.S. government. They all meet federal or state standards in terms of providing access to medical care, in terms of air conditioning in the hot Texas summer, and 3 meals a day, and a place to sleep. And of course, there has to be separation between men and women at these facilities. I did not go into this facility. We saw it from a distance, but instead of the temporary soft-sided facilities, which is what they call them, basically fancy tents, this will be a hard wall and a permanent facility that will be here for the foreseeable future.
The facility is expected to start receiving migrants on August 17th, and eventually it could hold up to 5,000 people. We also have a new look at what some of the military resources on the border are up to, so we want to give you an inside look there. We are going to start over here. This is new video out of El Paso that shows U.S. soldiers clearing out brush near the border. The Department of Defense says this helps with visibility, and it can also help detect signs of illegal crossings. Now I want to show you this video. This is soldiers reinforcing the border wall and concertina wire, also near El Paso. You'll notice they're adding and looping this concertina wire near the top of the border wall. We've seen videos of people propping up ladders to get over the border wall, but they're going to run into this wire if they try to use that method in this case. We're going to continue checking in with the Department of Defense about what these operations look like at the border. For now, that's all we've got for you. This has been Texas Border Watch. We'll be back next week, and you can check out any of these stories more in depth on news4sanantonio.com or foxsanantonio.com.